Hello, good morning. Myself, I am BSR Botany lecturer. Today, our topic photosynthesis. Photosynthesis factors. Which factors are controlling the photosynthesis? That may be external factors or internal factors. So, first external factor light. So, light quality, light intensity, light duration. Generally, the light quality that is about 390 to 760 nanometer, that is called PAR, photosynthetically active radiation. Especially in this range, this is the visible light, yet particular this light rate of photosynthesis is more. And more important point, rate of photosynthesis is more in red light than blue light. You know the green light generally reflects. But now important thing is absorption spectrum and action spectrum. What is the mean of absorption spectrum and action spectrum? First, absorption spectrum. Here a graph is showing, here the graph is showing absorption of light by the pigments at different wavelengths is called absorption spectrum. Whereas action spectrum, here a graph is showing rate of photosynthesis at different wavelengths is called action spectrum. Anyway, both absorption spectrum and action spectrum helps to find the photosynthetic efficiency of different pigments. Then when you go to light intensity directly proportional to rate of photosynthesis. When the light intensity increases up to optimum level, generally rate of photosynthesis also increases. Then light duration. Here what they are saying, generally more rate of photosynthesis takes place when light is in intermittent. Means when light in flashes, rate of photosynthesis is more than continuous light. So that is why we should know the mean of light compensation point. Light compensation point means at a particular light intensity, the amount of carbon dioxide released during respiration is equal to amount of carbon dioxide absorbed during the photosynthesis is called light compensation point. That light compensation point high in C4 plant is an important thing. Then when you go to temperature, generally when the temperature increases up to optimum level, rate of photosynthesis also increases. And main important thing is carbon dioxide. When the carbon dioxide concentration is increases, rate of photosynthesis also generally increases. But very important point. When carbon dioxide concentration is increases from 0.03% to 0.1%, rate of photosynthesis generally increases. But more than 0.1%, that carbon dioxide becomes lethal to plants. It may be poisonous to plants. So that is also important point. Then what is the mean of CO2 compensation point? CO2 compensation point means at particular carbon dioxide concentration, photosynthesis just compensates for respiration is called CO2 compensation point. CO2 compensation point high in C3 plants, whereas light compensation point high in C4 plant. Then when you go for oxygen, generally oxygen concentration, in the atmosphere, when it increases more than 21%, Rubisco act as oxygenase. So that is why energy wasting process called photorespiration takes place. Then when you go for water, water is most important external factor. When water availability is more, photosynthesis also increases. So generally photosynthesis is decreasing when the availability of water is less, because water controls cellular expansion, water controls stomatal opening, and water is important for enzyme activity. Now internal factors. So internal factors may be chlorophyll content, accumulation of end products, Then we have to discuss about the Blackman's law of limiting factor. So chlorophyll content, it means clearly photosynthesis depending on the structure of leaf. You know, in the leaf, mesophyll cells are present. In the mesophyll cells, chloroplast, in which chlorophyll content is present. Then the chlorophyll content is more, generally rate of photosynthesis is also more. But in some plants, that chlorophyll content is less. So that is why the leaves turns into pale color. That process is called etiolation. So their rate of photosynthesis is less. Then when you go for accumulation of end products, a very important point, the synthesized food materials in the mesophyll cells that should translocate from the mesophyll cells to vascular bundles, or otherwise when the food materials are translocating or not at all translocating properly, rate of photosynthesis generally decreases. So especially when you take in the C4 plants, you know Kranz anatomy is present. The vascular bundles surrounded by bundle sheath cells which appear like a garland called Kranz anatomy. Especially this Kranz anatomy supplies the food materials or translocates the food materials from mesophyll cells to vascular bundles. So that is why C4 plants are more efficient in the translocation of food molecules from the mesophyll cells to vascular bundles. So that is their more rate of photosynthesis takes place. And mainly Blackman's law of limiting factor. So Blackman's law of limiting factor means, according to Blackman's, not only photosynthesis, when you check any process, that the process is depending on different factors. Suppose you take photosynthesis, depending on light, carbon dioxide, oxygen, water, different factors are there. So in that the slowest available factor controls the entire process, that is Blackman's law of limiting factor. Suppose when light intensity is there, that light intensity is up to 400 nanometers. So we are increasing the light intensity up to 400 nanometers. Carbon dioxide concentration is okay. So but light intensity is only 400 nanometers. When I am increasing the carbon dioxide concentration level also, the rate of photosynthesis doesn't increase because low light intensity controls the rate of photosynthesis. Whereas carbon dioxide concentration is low, light intensity increases. There, carbon dioxide concentration, low carbon dioxide concentration act as limiting factor. So any process that may be photosynthesis or respiration or any process, depending on different factors, in that slowest available factor controls the entire process. So this is the Blackman's law of limiting factor. So total external and internal factors completed in photosynthesis. Thank you. Thank you to all.